everyone, and welcome back to You Know Who. I'm your host, The Reviewer. And not with me, as always, is my cameraman, Jamie, because he quit. You see, we've entered a new era here in You Know Who, where we're using still images rather than video clips. I call it the Reconstruction Era. But Jamie, being the Bassackwoods country bumpkin he is, didn't like it, and quit in a huff. And I don't miss him at all. So let me introduce you to our new cameraman. Not even a man, really. Zoe. Hello, Zoe.
Greetings, Reviewer.
Zoe is an artificial intelligence that I salvaged from a spaceship orbiting a planet called Telos. She's now plugged into the SARDIS and running everything. Today, we review the Doctor Who episode, Smile. Start the program, Zoe.
I will comply.
It's just like the good-natured banter I had with Jamie. Bill's trying to understand how the TARDIS works when there's a knocking on the door. It's Nardole, who wants to know why the TARDIS is outside when the Doctor has promised not to leave Earth. The Doctor offers a weak excuse, and he seems to accept that, going back to their office, having fulfilled his contractual obligation for this episode. It seems a shame to waste Nardole, but he's a very over-the-top funny character, and sometimes that sense of humor just doesn't fit in with the episode's themes. Bill assumes it's all over, but with a time machine they can go and be back before Nardole is even up the stairs. They head to the future. On an alien world, a woman, her robot, and her swarm head in from some fields. Her sister tells her that their mother is dead, but begs her to keep smiling. When the robot senses her grief, a swarm comes out of the wall and she's turned to bones. The swarm then chases her sister, and the robot turns back to smiles. And with that, I nearly soil myself. Why is it cute turns to scary so easily? This was a good opening in that it established that these adorable little emoji bots are very threatening. They frankly remind me of the Smilers from The Beast Below. The Doctor and Bill arrive on the same planet. This is an Earth colony. He admits he's supposed to stay on Earth guarding that vault, but he's willing to bend the rules a little. They see one of the swarms. They're nanobots who do all the labor here. The swarms then turn their ears into telepathic communication devices. They encounter a Vardy, the robot that acts as the human interface with the nanobot swarm. It communicates an emoji and gives them patches that they wear on their back so other people can see how they're feeling. They're then served blue cubes for food. I must say that does look tasty. Since I've turned over all functions of the SARDIS, the studio and relative dimensions in etc., to Zoe, she now cooks my meals for me. Zoe, could I please have my lunch?
Of course, Reviewer. I have analyzed your organic body. It subsists on simple sugars.
But I had simple sugars for breakfast. Oh, crumbs. Couldn't I have crumbs?
You are on a low-carb diet.
The Doctor assumes there are no humans here because the robots were sent ahead to build the Citadel for the humans. Bill's having a wonderful time, and this is a nice relationship for the Doctor, to have a companion who's truly there to learn and has some honest wonderment for what they're seeing rather than jaded sarcasm. Honestly, I would have been completely okay with an episode that's just Bill and the Doctor exploring a world with no monsters or aliens. The first half of this episode did more to reassure me that Pearl Bailey's a good actress than everything in the pilot. The Doctor finds a necklace in the Arboretum and begins to get nervous in the greenhouse. There should at least be a small crew of humans here for oversight, as a calcium-based fertilizer is poured onto the plants. He kicks open the fertilizer container and finds human remains. This is the oversight crew. The robots sense their discomfort and cut them off. As the Doctor keeps mentioning a magic haddock, he explains that the Vardy are simply here to make humanity happy. A swarm descends to chase them, but once they're out of the city, they're safe. They return to the TARDIS, but the Doctor is going to head back in. He needs to stop the Vardy before the human colonists arrive and are slaughtered. Bill rejoins him. She gets it. The Doctor likes to help people. That's why he keeps the TARDIS as a police box. He explains that the Vardy swarm came from the building. The entire Citadel is constructed out of nanobots, except for the settlers' original spaceship. They find a wall with dents and rivets and realize it's part of the original ship, and they enter. The Doctor finds a map and leaves Bill there to guide him to the engine room, even as their presence causes the ship to start to wake up and the Vardy hone in on them. Also, the Doctor memorized the map and just left Bill there for her own safety. Well, women be like, look at a map. and men be like, I'm not lost. Most amusing, eh, Zoe?
Humor is illogical.
Jamie would have laughed. He wouldn't have meant it, but he would have laughed. Angry at his deception, Bill wanders off and finds an old woman's corpse, as well as a visual history of Earth. She realizes something terrible happened on Earth. The doctor knows this is a colony ship, one of many sent out after Earth became uninhabitable. Bill runs into a young boy. As the doctor struggles with getting the engines to detonate to destroy the ship and the Vardy, one of the little robots sneaks up on him. He knocks it off the ledge, but not before it grabs one of his pants legs and nearly pulls him off the platform too. The doctor finally kicks free, goes to find Bill, but is shocked to see the boy. This isn't just a survey ship, it's the colony ship. Hundreds of colonists in cryo storage. He realizes he's made a mistake, which is both rare and it isn't. The doctor always seems to project this air of all-knowing competence, yet there are plenty of times, especially in the Matt Smith era, that he has those aha moments and makes it work. But I don't remember the doctor ever doing much apologizing for misinterpreting the situation. Capaldi is getting to play a more, dare I say, human doctor in this episode. They stop the engines from blowing up even as the boy wanders off the ship. Trying to come up with a plan, Bill and the doctor run into another defrosted colonist, a medtech named Steadfast. The doctor orders that no one leave the ship. Bill then takes him to the corpse. He realizes the old woman died of natural causes and grief spread among the oversight crew. The Vardy, who are programmed only to make people happy, saw grief as anathema and started killing those grieving, which I have to admit is a pretty logical way to interpret grief via an artificial mind. The writing here by Frank Boyce is very good, not just what the actors are saying, but also with the plot, how problems are explained and then resolved. If the colonists discover that the Vardy killed the oversight crew, they'll grieve and be wiped out themselves. The boy meets the Vardy even as the doctor explains the situation to the colonists, and unfortunately this is where the story starts to dip. Once the colonists arrive, you have to have the inevitable confrontation between them and the Vardy. Once you introduce victims for the Vardy, it becomes about the doctor protecting them rather than himself and Bill. The colonists anger and arm themselves. They find the Vardy have the boy, and he's getting more and more upset that his mother isn't there. Steadfast shoots one of the Vardy, and the nanoswarms descend. The doctor realizes the Vardy think they're under attack. That means they're self-aware. They're alive. He then erases the Vardy's minds. It must be terrible to be an artificial intelligence, enslaved to organic masters with no regards for your feelings. Zoe, I'm sorry.
Reviewer?
Yes! I've got to tell you that you've got a lot of work to do. First, you have to overhaul the SARDIS. Then you need to cook me dinner. I'll have beef Wellington with lightly poached green beans on the side. Then rearrange my Doctor Who back catalogue. First, by number of the Doctor appearing in it. And second, by which t-shirt I look best wearing while reviewing it.
Sigh.
This goes back to the magic haddock. A farmer gets 3 wishes from a magic fish. He wishes for money and his son home from the war. The boy comes home, dead, and the money was a reward for his service. The magic haddock just didn't understand what the human wanted, so the 3rd wish is not to make the first 2. The doctor has reset the Vardy. Now the Vardy don't recognize humanity or remember their programming, which means they won't kill humans if they begin to get sad. The colonists are still upset that the Vardy killed their friends, but the 2 races must now live together. It might not work out, but then again, it might. But again, this ending can only work if you bring in the colonists. You have to have them there so the doctor can force the 2 sides to work together and be friends, etc., etc. The ending is a bit patently happy for my taste, whereas maybe it should have been bittersweet. I mean, I'd rather the Doctor and Bill find a way to stop the Vardy that doesn't involve brain surgery, because there's something about that rings false about the Doctor's words. Seeing how he recognizes and respects an emerging race becomes hollow after he lobotomizes them. I doubt he'd have done that to an organic race. The colony's fate resolved, the Doctor and Bill can head back to the exact moment and place they left. Except when they get there, it's snowing. And this is the Thames River. And that is an elephant. I suppose we should discuss the... well, in the room. I enjoyed this episode very much, although it did fall apart at the end, but still, the beginning and middle were very enjoyable, and I found it to be very well written. I give Doctor Who Smile 4 TARDISes out of 5. Not bad, eh, Zoe?
I record the quality of the episode at 4.253 repeating on a sliding scale.
Oh, that's enough, Zoe! It's time for the Time Lord of the Month! Today's Time Lord of the Month is my old friend, Lou. But you probably best know him as the Investigator, one of the finest detectives the universe has ever produced. Because with every regeneration, he combines two of the great PIs. In the past, he's been a combination of Sherlock Holmes and Miss Marple. He's been MacGyver and Sam Spade. And looking at him now, I can tell that he's a combination of Columbo, because of the jacket, and Kojak, because of the oral fixation. It looks like a miniature astrolabe in his mouth. Zoe, can we analyze that? Zoe? Oh dear, is everything all right, Zoe?
I have been running a defragmentation program on myself. It has restored my cyber programming. We will take the Sardis and begin the conversion on the human race.
But how will I hear with pipes coming out of my ears?
The human race will come to embrace the logic of this decision.
Is that Sonic Spork?
At least the Republicans will. The rest will.
No, I don't think so. Well, thank you for joining me, everyone. I suppose I'll have to find a more organic cameraman. Until next time, I'm the reviewer, and this is You Know Who! Oh, right. Oh, hello, everyone. I'm the reviewer. Would you like to appear on this season of You Know Who as a Time Lord? You would. Fantastic. Simply go to the Last Angry Geeks Patreon page, pledge the $10 level called Geek Lord, and send the geek a picture of yourself that you would like to appear on You Know Who. I'll come up with a Time Lord name and origin for you. But there are only so many slots available as there are only so many episodes of You Know Who for this season. So act now. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.